approximately 2/3 of American people are overweight, and now losing weight is at the top of most New Year's resolutions. And with obesity in America at an all-time high, that resolution should be at the top of the list.
We nibbled through Christmas and we lived it up for the new year. Now it's time to get serious about our weight loss goals. Dr. Barry Sears is the author of the Omega Zone. He says when we make poor food choices, our hormones become unbalanced, and that's what makes us gain weight. With his Zone 1-2-3 program, Dr. Sears will help us balance key hormones simply by the foods we eat, helping us stay full and lose toxic fat.
You may remember the very famous ZONE diet. The author of that diet is here with us. He's back, Dr. Barry Sears. Barry, it's good to have you with us again.
It's a pleasure, Pat, always.
Thank you. All right, let me ask you, you're working with NFL football players, and you got a way to make their injuries disappear, or at least ameliorate the effects. What are you doing to them?
Well, one of the biggest problems in NFL play is basically brain injury. Yeah. And it's been swept under the rug for many years. And we've been working now on a whole new technology to basically treat and really reverse brain aging in these retired NFL players.
You're kidding. How are you doing it?
Well, basically, it turns out the old-fashioned way. Lots of fish oil.
You're back to fish oil again?
Back again.
I'd take 4 of those rascals a day. I use that, what is that purified stuff you have to get a prescription for?
That's Lavazza.
Lavazza, yeah. Does it make any difference if you're using fish oil? What kind you use?
It really does. Most fish oils are simply not very purified. Lavazza is, but other fish oils, actually, which are not prescription products, actually are 5 times more pure than Lavazza.
Come on.
Yeah.
You want to give me I guess it's okay to give a plug of something on the air?
Well, the only fish oil that meets that criteria turns out to be the Omega RX.
Who sells that?
Well, unfortunately, our company does.
by sheer coincidence, we're giving a plug for Barry's company. It's called Omega RX, and it's more pure than Lavazza, the prescription stuff.
And that's why we've worked very hard, because, again, the key thing about fish oil, it does work, but it has to be pure.
All right.
And so, again, this is the key factor that basically...
And this will reverse the brain damage to NFL players?
Yes. Again, when we've done this, we've actually published an article recently in the Journal of Neurosurgery, taking rats, in which we've induced brain concussion injuries that give rise to the same lesions you find in Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And if you give them the fish oil right after the brain injury, you prevent any of the damage.
Extraordinary. Well, anyhow, you're supposed to be talking about fat things, and let's get into that. You've written that some people have a genetic tendency to gain weight. Is that true?
Exactly. And it's not fair, but that's the way it is. About 2/3 of Americans fall in that category. Yeah. And that's why I saw your earlier story about, most people in denial, saying, hey, as a society, we're fat. And those 2/3 of people don't wake up one day saying, I want to get fat. They say, just something has happened. Right. Well, what's turned on in the last 30 years is our food. The changes in our food supply have turned on ancient genes, which in those people who are genetically predisposed, gives rise to rapid weight gain.
The changes in our food supply have awakened dormant genes?
Exactly.
What changes?
Well, 2 changes in particular, actually 3. The first is an increase in the consumption of omega-6 fatty acids. Where do you find these? In vegetable oils like corn, soybean, sunflower. Say, well, sunflowers, it sounds so...
Yeah, I thought they were good for you.
It turns out they're incredibly dangerous. But they're the cheapest form of calories now known to mankind, and that's why they're so ubiquitous in all of our food supply. All right. The second change has been an increase in the consumption of refined, cheap carbohydrates. Yeah. Now, when those two combine, cheap carbohydrates and omega-6 fatty acids, you now turn on these inflammatory genes that make us fat and keep us fat.
Come on, this actually, it turns on genes in your body and kicks hormones into your system?
All this we didn't know about until about 5 years ago. It's all new breakthroughs in molecular biology. They're saying, oh my God, I did not realize how powerful food was to turn genes on and turn genes off.
Well, now let's do that again. You're going to eat omega-6, and I thought safflower oil and all those things. Well, are there any of those oils that are any good for you? I mean,
no.
None of them?
None of them. Yeah, here's a good rule of thumb. The oils that are really good for you would be things like olive oil. Yeah. Very low in omega-6 fatty acids. Right. Guacamole. Okay. Very low in omega-6 fatty acids. almonds, very low in omega-6 fatty acids.
Okay.
So those are the ones you want to eat if you want to turn off the genes that make you fat.
Fantastic. But the American people aren't told this.
Exactly.
Well, as a matter of fact, the medical profession isn't told it. This is cutting-edge microbiology.
There's really a major educational program that has to take place.
Unbelievable. Well, now, on your ZONE diet, are you still advocating that, or have you gone to another
No.
thing?
The ZONE diet is still the foundation, because it's the ZONE diet that keeps those hormones in that zone that allows you to control your future. Okay. And by saying that, you control the expression of your genes.
Unbelievable. Well, what's this stealth nutrition?
Well, the stealth nutrition is addressing the fact that it's easier to change your religion than to change your diet.
Oh, come on. Here I thought we were holding on to our faith. And all right.
And therefore, since people are going to be very difficult to change their diet, saying, what if we now take a stealth approach? What if we take the foods they like to eat, the pizza, the pasta, the bagels, and reorganize, take out the carbohydrates and replace it with protein so it looks and tastes exactly the same, but gives now a totally different hormonal response that basically turns on hunger or turns off hunger. And as a consequence, if you're not hungry, cutting back in calories is pretty simple.
Well, you've got to get the bakers and the manufacturers to go along with that, don't you?
Well, it's a long process, but it's a process that actually may be able to save America from itself. We have this is a year of reckoning for America. This is when now baby boomers start turning age 65, and at a rate of 7,000 per day. And we have something like $38 trillion of unfunded liabilities for a population that is now much sicker. And they say, take care of me. Say, we're out of money. You've got to take care of yourself. And so basically healthcare reform starts not in Congress, but in your kitchen.
What about this high fructose corn syrup? That's in everything now.
It is everything because it's cheaper. It's actually cheaper than table sugar. That's why it's used so ubiquitous. So what is high fructose corn syrup or table sugar? It's still sugar.
Okay.
And now when you add those omega-6 fatty acids to it, bad things happen.
Oh, boy. Well, you're terrific. Ladies and gentlemen, turn off your hormones. What are these things you got here? I want to show them.
Well, these are our daily essentials. Most people say, well, you know, bottles, say, but now we put them in a little packet. So we have 4 capsules of fish oil and 1 capsule of polyphenols. These are the chemicals that give fruits and vegetables their color. In high enough concentrations, they also have anti-inflammatory actions. But 1 capsule contains the same number of polyphenols as eating 10 servings of fruits and vegetables.
Unbelievable. And any nuts? I like nuts. I mean,
nuts are great.
Nuts are great? Yeah. Well, but you said almonds. Anything else?
Usually, here's a good rule of thumb. The more expensive the nut, the more better it is for you.
I like Brazil nuts. I don't know.
They're great. They're great sources of selenium, which is one of the really keys for our antioxidant defenses in our body.
Well, I appreciate your being here. The author of the ZONE diet. Where can you get these, what do you call them? I want to say nutraceuticals, but where do you get these preparations?
Well, they had to go to our website at zonediet.com.
Okay. Well, there you are. And Dr. Sears is going to join Christy. She's over in the kitchen. You're going to show her some stealth tips
and stealth recipes.
So great to have you with us.
My pleasure.
God bless you. Go ahead. And she'll be over there now. Dr. Barry Sears, the author of the ZONE diet.
I tell you, Pat, that was really, really interesting. You know, well, come on over here, Dr. Sears.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. Pat just had you over there. Didn't know if he was ever going to release you. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's talk about the ZONE diet. It's been around for quite some time. Let's remind people what the initial kind of formula was.
Well, initially the formula was talking about the percentage of calories, like 30% calories as protein, 40% as carbohydrates, 30% as fat. They'll say, that's so hard.
Yeah.
Well, just think basically using your hand and your eye to get that percentages.
Gotcha.
And what we have is a plate that shows you exactly how to get that percentages at every meal.
All right, so we've got the protein.
Right, and basically you divide your plate into 3 equal sections. On 1/3 of the plate, you put some protein that's no bigger or thicker than the palm of your hand.
Gotcha.
Notice my hand's bigger than yours.
Much?
I get to have more protein.
Exactly. It's all good. My hips can't handle too much.
Now, what about the other 2/3 of the plate?
Yeah.
You fill it full of colorful carbohydrates.
Yeah.
What are colorful carbohydrates? They're called fruits and vegetables.
Now, see, that's surprising to me because when I think of carbohydrates, I instantly think of the white things, like breads or pastas or even sugars, like potatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people basically don't realize that fruits and vegetables are also carbohydrates. But the reason they're colored, because they contain polyphenols, which are basically very powerful antioxidants. No color, no antioxidants.
Exactly. One of the things that you were talking to Pat about was the stealth, what is it called again?
Stealth nutrition.
Yeah, stealth nutrition. Thank you so much. Well, let's show an example of what that stealth nutrition is.
Well, the one thing that it's easier, as I mentioned to Pat, easier to change your religion than your diet.
Yeah.
And if you can't bring Muhammad to the mountain,
yeah,
bring the mountain to Muhammad.
Gotcha.
So we started out 5 years ago to invent a whole new baking technology that allows us to replace carbohydrates in the foods we love to eat with protein.
Okay.
Without changing the taste or the look. But what you do change now is the hormonal responses. So the foods that used to make you fat now make you thin by turning off hunger.
So let's show these things really, really quickly. So things like pizzas and bagels and pasta, the things that we would say do not eat, you're saying that you can if what?
Basically, you're using now these new zone of ingredients as their composite. We might start the morning off with a bagel. What could be easier than that? But that bagel contains the same amount of protein as a 4-egg white omelet. And for lunch, you might have a cold pasta salad. And for dinner, a pizza.
Yeah.
And say, well, I could do that. And between meals, you might have, cookies or brownies.
Okay.
We develop all this for treating diabetes.
But this is a zone program, so it's not like my normal bagel that I got at the grocery store. This is your program.
Exactly.
Well, something that you said earlier when we were talking was that it's not just about being fit or even being thin per se, but if you eat this way with the omega-3s and the correct amount of everything else, you're not only thin, but you're also
smarter.
Smarter.
And happier.
And brother, I'm all about that. And why is that so? Really quick. What makes us smart and happy?
Your hormones.
Yeah.
If your hormones are balanced, you will be smarter, you'll be happier, you'll be thinner.
Good, and I'm all about that. Now, I cannot end this segment without eating one of these cookies because I'm just curious, you know?
We're going to find out right
all
now.
Because I told you that if I didn't like them, I would tell you. Did I just spit on you? I'm sorry. These are, and you said it, but it's true, these are surprisingly really good.
Exactly. If they aren't, no one's going to eat them.
They kind of taste a little bit like, Rice Krispie treats.
Exactly. But now with a totally different hormonal response.
Okay, I'm liking this. No wonder you get happy on your little diet.
That's right.
Okay. You want a bite? You can
take
there you go. Don't take too many because I'm taking some home. All right, the rest are mine. Well, if you'd like more information, we have a free fact sheet for you, and it's online. I don't know why I always take a bite and then try to eat. It's called Living in the Healthy Zone with Dr. Sears, and also all we ask you to do is just log on to CBN.com, and you're going to download a very free copy that's just for you. So please do that.